Good morning, and thank all of you for being here today. Last week, as you know, we reported that an internal investigation found that 343 water meters in a few concentrated areas had been misread, resulting in overcharges for some of our customers. That is not acceptable. One person being charged for water that they did not use is one too many. And that has been the very clear message, and one that I am reinforcing this morning. The Public Utilities Department believes that these misreads were an isolated incident. And we have hundreds of dedicated employees of the Public Utilities Department who do terrific work every day. However, over the last month, too many of our customers have been inconvenienced. And that's why that I have asked our city's independent auditor, Eduardo Luna, to make the audit of the city's Public Utilities Department his top priority. We need the results and recommendations of this audit to come as quickly as possible so we can act on any of those recommendations. In an instance like this, an independent audit is a real opportunity. It can help us identify areas where we can improve, and it may find efficiencies that can improve overall operations. From service to systems procedures, government should always be looking on ways that we can be more efficient and better serve our residents to ensure their trust. Which is why I've also asked the auditor to expand the scope of the audit to evaluate any role that smart meters may have played in those billing areas, in those billing errors. We believe smart meters will be a game changer because they will remove the human element from meter reading, and they will give customers the power to watch and manage their water usage in real time. But the program's success also relies on customers' confidence that the technology behind smart meters is sound and that it works. And in addition to the independent audit, I have directed our new Public Utilities Department Director, Vic Bionis, to do his own top-down review of the department. And I have given him the authority to make the changes he believes are appropriate to better serve San Diegans. Vic has been director for just a couple months now, as I think many of you know. So the timing is perfect for this fresh perspective. And it is important to note that many San Diegans beyond those 343 customers have seen higher than normal water bills. Many of those can be attributed to a rate increase that went into effect in August, and others have been determined to have been the result of leaks or other causes. But I have given very clear direction, and I want to reiterate that again this morning, very clear direction that each customer who calls with a billing concern must be heard, every customer. Their bill will be reviewed on an individual basis to determine the cause and how to resolve it. That may result in the city providing a water audit of their home, identifying a leak, or fixing a billing mistake. Our customers need to know that they are paying for what they use, and their hard-earned money is being well spent on ensuring we all have access to a safe, clean, and reliable water supply. And now I would like to invite Eduardo Luna to discuss the scope and the timing of the audit. Eduardo?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor indicated, completing this audit is a top priority of my office. We expect to complete this audit no later than June of this year, but we're targeting to complete it by early spring. We have really two broad objectives for this review. First is to determine if the Public Utilities Department is accurately billing water customers. And second is also to determine if the process and procedures for detecting and correcting inaccurate water bills is sufficient. In addition, we're also going to be looking at the smart meter installation to see if that's had an impact on water bills. Again, we expect to complete this audit as soon as we can, and it is a top priority for my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. So I think, one of the areas most affected by the recent misreads was Council District 6. Councilmember Chris Cate has been a vocal advocate for residents on his district in this issue. So I'd invite the council member to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good afternoon. Right after the new year, my office began receiving numerous calls and emails from District 6 residents who were alarmed about receiving uncharacteristically high water bills. Nearly 70% of the affected residents are in my district, including households in Mira Mesa who saw their water bills increase as high as 400% over their previous billing cycle. Due to the confusion to the response from the Public Utilities Department regarding my constituents' concerns, I issued a formal memo on January 30th to the department with specific questions related to this matter. Despite the department's response last week, residents in my district with exorbitant water bills still had unanswered questions. I appreciate the mayor for expediting this audit to confirm if this matter was even an isolated incident. With this audit, I hope this department will start to regain the trust of residents. I am hosting a public forum this evening at the Mira Mesa Senior Center with the Public Utilities Department, so residents will have the opportunity to ask the department questions and have their bills addressed. City staff will be on site and able to look up residents' water bills right then and there. I encourage anyone who has a question about their water bill to attend tonight's forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Zaff chairs the city's audit committee, which of course plays an important role in oversight of all of our city's business functions. And so I'd like Councilmember Zaff to come up and say a few words as well.
Thank you. And it will be just a few words. What we're learning now is very troubling. We've all been hearing from our constituents. Obviously, in Mr. Cates' district, it's been significant, but all of us have been hearing from our constituents, hearing about water bills. So what we're learning now is really very troubling. And there is mounting evidence of serious questions about the management of water bills and the unfair treatment of residents. And this has got to stop. As chair of the audit committee, I would like to assure residents and businesses that a very careful and comprehensive audit of the Public Utilities Department will be our highest priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember. And as I've said, our PUD Director, Vic Bianis, is here to answer any questions as well. I'm looking forward to the results of the audit and the scope of the audit. And with that, I'd be happy to open it up for any questions.
Yeah, talked about looking at the smart meter program and all that sort of thing. You know, if someone questions their bill, it goes to a controversy test. Will you also be looking at the controversy test, and you're confident those tests now are accurate and done by industry standards? That is
one of the things that I've instructed Vic to look at, those the tests, to make sure that those are accurate as well. That's part of the top-down review. We want to look at every single process. It has to be correct. If it's not correct, it needs to be fixed.
Has the IROC done its job, do you think? Do you think you have to look at that?
But we'll look at everything to help strengthen the overall review and the overall process. As I said now, with the PUD instructed to do their process, the function of our independent city auditor is incredibly important. As I think some of you know, I served as the chair of the audit committee for the city for a number of years. That independent auditing function is one I want, is one I welcome, is one that is good and healthy for the city, because we need to make sure that the processes can be counted on and relied on. And if something's not working the way it should be working, it needs to be changed. And as I said before, particularly as we are going to be embarking on significant changes, to take the human error element out of the water reading, to go to our AMI meters, those need to be correct. We need to have the utmost confidence in that, and particularly as we're investing the dollars that we're doing on our pure water program and recycling. This is going to be a very busy time for water investment in the city of San Diego, and rightfully so we can control our own destiny when it comes to sustainability and water supply. We need to ensure with the utmost confidence that those billing issues are correct. And if they're not correct, as I said before, every single bill needs to be addressed.
And people will be reimbursed for the extra money, being reimbursed for the controversy test, and maybe even their plumbing bills?
Yeah,
they had leaks?
Exactly. Every single, if there was a mistake, it needs to be corrected, and every single person will get that refund.
Including plumbing bills they may have paid for to have the plumber come out and
that was all the issues that we'll be working on, absolutely.
Mayor Faulconer?
Yeah.
Just clarify exactly what you said the customers would get if they call with a question about their bill. You said an in-person audit. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we can request that. As the council members hosting a forum tonight, we encourage people to bring their bills if they have questions on it. So I said I want staff there to review not only calls and questions, but to bring your bill. And if somebody has a question or wants to send a city staff out to look at it, we will do that for every single person. Also, as I think you know from Vic, who mentioned it last week, in the process of reviewing every single water meter over the next 45 days to ensure its accuracy. You have to do that. You have to not only review it for the processes, but as I said before, this independent audit is incredibly important. Not only as we look to the systems we have, but as we're going to the smart meters to ensure that we have the confidence in that we take out the human error element and give people the confidence that they deserve and expect.
Will you go back to how they were initially installed, who installed them, whether it was done by the city or by?
You know, that's a good point. And we'll look at all that when it comes to installation. I agree.
Can you speak on the technology of the smart meters at all? I mean, I thought that the point was so that you didn't have to have meter readers go out.
It is. Yeah, it is. And in fact, we're changing over to that system. And so you won't have to have the human element of going out to read it. It'll be done electronically. And we're on pace to have that completed by 2020. And that's going to be important. I think that's going to be a huge part of obviously moving forward. But why I think it's important to ask and the independent auditor to review that is to look at that technology as well. Because as we are investing in those smart meters, to make sure that we have the utmost confidence that that technology works, it's going to give us the results that we want, and you have the confidence in it. And so that's why I'm glad that he is determined to add that to the scope of his audit.
I'd like to just follow up on what Lori said a little bit about how the troubling response from the water department. We've heard from so many people now that said, I called and they dismissed my concerns, or I couldn't even get through. You know, I couldn't get through, or I called and they said, no, sorry, it's your fault. Like, how can people have confidence that the water department is going to do the right thing going forward and take them seriously? That's
why I've said that every single review, everybody who has a question on their bill has to get reviewed. And I will insist on that. There are a variety of factors, as I think was covered earlier in the last couple of weeks. Rates did go up for the investments that are happening, water usage. But if somebody has an individual question on their bill and thinks that it was misread or done wrong, it's incumbent upon the city to go out there, treat that customer with dignity and respect, to look at that individual bill and address their issues. And so I've said I want all of those bills reviewed. We're bringing on extra staff to making sure from a customer service standpoint, people get their questions answered. You leave a message, get back to the people. It's all about ensuring that people know that their individual questions can get answered, every single bill and every single question. It's going to take a lot of work and effort. Vic's preparing for that. But I've said not doing that is not an option. That's what we have to do.
If you don't have a smart meter and you have a regular meter, how can you know that it's been even looked at and not estimated?
As I said, if anybody has an individual question about their meter or their review, we will send somebody out to reread it. Every reader is going to be reread. Every meter is going to be reread over the next 45 days.
But how do you know yours was even read, that it wasn't estimated?
You know, I'd have to have Vic answer that question. Yeah, do you want to step up, Vic?
I mean, how do you know it's not just...
Yes, Public Utilities Director Vic Bionis. There'll be a label on there that says E for estimate, and so that would be the label that they would know. We have been talking to our staff, looking at all of our operating procedures, and that we are going to do a priority to make sure we have actual reads.
And the percentage that were estimated on a monthly basis in San Diego.
Let me invite Mike Vogel up, our Deputy Director for Customer Service Division, to answer that question. Mike?
Yeah, typically we have about somewhere between 0.4% and 1% of meters that are actually estimated on a regular basis because they can't be accessed. The car's parked over it. There may be other issues, pavement, things like that.
Could you explain again how one person was able to misread 343 meters? Any more information on what happened there in Mira Mesa?
That individual is no longer working with the city, as Vic had indicated last week. And I'll just leave it at that.
Got time for one more question, folks? To do all of those
Yeah.
meter readings.
Oh, I understand the question. Yeah, one of the things as we move forward, before all of the smart meters will be going to be introduced here over the next 2 years, to everybody goes to a smart meter, so you don't have to have the meter reading, is to strengthen the oversight procedures, both internally for the team and the supervisors, to ensure obviously accuracy of all the bills, to try to take the human error element out of it. That's incredibly important. Again, it gets to trust, it gets to oversight, and it gets to policies and procedures that have to work now, not wait until the smart meters are all installed by 2020. Got time for one more? Yeah.
How much staff or overtime you're adding, or how much it's costing?
You know, I'll let Vic get to you after that, but I've said I want additional people on the phones. Why? Because I want people's calls to be answered. You know, they're going through calls and calls and calls right now. And there's legitimate, obviously, issues that have happened that maybe individuals weren't aware of their own usage. It's about communication. It's about being able to ask the questions. It's about knowing that you have confidence that, okay, I didn't know that the rates did go up, or yes, the billing cycle did change for 10 days. I mean, there's a lot of you know, a lot of issues involved. But what has to be right is that you have confidence that the meter reading is taking place correctly. And if things need to be changed on that, they will be, because we have to ensure that. And that's why I'm so, as I said before, pleased from a performance audit standpoint that the auditor will be adding this into the audit, because that's what we want. And that's what San Diegans, as I said, deserve. That's what they expect, and that's what they'll get. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
I've got press releases.
Thanks, Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.